Our YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So let's get right into this video. Let's talk about, as a chosen one, like you can't be a follower. It's not even, you're not even meant to be a follower. Like you're not chosen to be a follower, to fit in and everything. This is why you don't fit in. And so a good way to look at it is, have you ever seen a person who became like a leader, a big leader, you know, maybe an industry leader, maybe a leader, a spiritual leader, maybe some type of leader in anything? Haven't you noticed that something's different about them? Like they talk a little bit different. They have a personality that no one could truly mimic. They could even, like, no one could really like copy them. And if they try to copy them, it just doesn't work. Like it doesn't work out at all. This is how a chosen one of God is, because he's gave you that spirit, gave you that different type of like anointing to you. Like he's chosen you out of the world. And because he's chosen you out of the world, you're not meant to be a follower. You're not meant to be a follower in the world. You're supposed to create like your own thing. You're supposed to be a leader in some type of area, and like it could be any area. So whenever you, like, say you've probably had situations with like friends or so-called friends. A lot of friends that a chosen one has are usually fake, or like they have ulterior motives, or like they're deceivers, or they're just jealousy. It's usually jealousy, especially with a chosen one. It's usually jealousy. And say all your friends, you know, they all do the same thing. All these, maybe it's a group of like 4 of you or something. They all do the same thing. But for some reason, for whenever you come around, it's like you don't even want to do like what they're doing. Like you just don't want to do what they're doing. And like they all doing the same thing. They all agree on everything. They're kind of like hive-minded in a way. Like most people are usually hive-minded, like together. They all do the same thing. They think kind of like the same way. They all want to agree on everything. They all want to just be together. And because you've been set apart, you've always been set apart, because any leader, anyone that's supposed to do something big in their life is set apart. That's why you're set apart. You've been around these people, and you've left every time you've been around these people. Like you've been drained, because the stuff they do didn't correlate with what you wanted to do. It was always kind of a tug of war. Basically, it was always kind of a, like, you had these ideas and they had those, and like it never matched. So like this is why you probably had like conflicts with friends, or like they look at you a certain way, and it's always been weird. Or like you've always been kind of like ganged up on. It could be like 3-4 people. They're all ganging up on you and everything. It's because they see that you have a purpose. They've been seeing this since you were a kid. They didn't know how to like explain it, but they've seen it, and it like angered them. It angered those demons. It made them like, this is why you go through so much jealousy and like envy from people, and like it's kind of like for no reason. Like it doesn't make sense at first. You're like, hold up, like why is this even happening? So these demons inside these people, they see like that you're not the same as they are. They see that there's something different about you. They see that you're alive. You think differently. They see that you're intelligent and everything. But they'll never say it though, out of pride. Like most people are really prideful, so they'll never compliment you on anything. So even if the thing you did was like extremely impressive, they still won't give you any praise for it. But don't get me wrong though, it's not like, oh, you desire, like I desire praise from people, or like if you're watching this, oh, you desire praise. It's like everyone likes some sort of praise, especially whenever they do something big or they do something impressive. So, but also because you're a leader, you're meant to be a leader. You've had more suffering throughout your whole life, and everyone's suffering is different. It could be forms of like, it could be a bullying when you were younger. It could be mocking. It could be financial issues, like super strong financial issues. It could be drug abuse, because traumas, mental health. It could be a lot of these things. And if you look though, and if you look for like, let's think about Eminem for a second, because I want to talk about Eminem, because I quoted lyrics from one of his songs in one of my videos. So let's talk about Eminem. So when he was younger, I believe like his dad like abused him or something, and like his dad was like on drugs. I think Eminem was. I'm not sure if Eminem was on drugs, but he grew up with like a really tough family life, and he was also like mocked too because he was like a white boy rapper, you know. So he was like mocked by people. They thought he wasn't nothing. He had stage fright. I think he choked on stage. He went through like tons and tons of suffering, tons of battles. It's just like it's kind of like unrelenting in a way. So this is how it is if you have a big purpose. Your suffering is kind of like unrelenting, and it's usually in the earlier stages of your life, like when you're young, when you're like pretty young, or like teens. And it still goes on, but usually the really big suffering is earlier in life. But everyone's on different timing. So God has His own timing for everyone. So some people have their success later. Some people have it earlier. It doesn't matter. Everyone has their own time with everything. But this is kind of how a chosen one's life goes too. Like whenever you were younger, you may have been mocked, bullied, made fun of. Just looked down on. They thought you were nothing. They thought you were like inferior. They thought you were weird or something. They thought, or they were just super envious of you. They wanted to make you feel a certain type of way because they saw that you're likely super intelligent. You're likely did most things with ease. You learn things easily, and you're a super kind, and you've been a super kind person. But anyone that's destined to be kind of like a king when they get older, or destined to be a queen, it's like chosen. That's truly chosen by God for a different type of purpose. For anyone with a bigger purpose they're gonna have way more suffering than the average person. The average person lives their life. You know, they go through their battles. They go through some battles. Everyone's got battles. They go through a little bit of suffering. They go through this. They go through that. But at the end of the day, though, they live a pretty like average life. It's not a bad life. It's just an average life, or like a good life. But they don't have like the same type of purpose, so they don't go through all that. They don't go through all this warfare that you go through, all these like kind of like struggles that you go through, all these lessons you have to learn, all these just like battles, all these setbacks, all these stagnations. Anyone with a big purpose goes through a lot of struggles. So, but the good thing about it is though, the Bible says, blessed is the one who endures, and rejoice in your suffering. So it's in the Bible. This is what God says about it, because God knows the one who suffers the most is the one who's going to get blessed the most. That's how everything works. It's kind of like a yin and a yang, because you're going to reach this big destination. You're going to have to go through the hellfire first, the fire to get crafted, to learn everything, to get stronger, to get developed, to you know how it is. But yeah, this is kind of how any leader's life goes. If you look at any other leader, like Eminem was just a super famous rapper. You could look at anyone. You could even look at as evil as it sounds too. You could even look at like a dictator or something, like just any dictator. Like you could look up to. And I'm not saying any dictator is good. I don't like any dictatorships. I think that's a terrible form of government. It's oppressive, it's terrible. But even when you look at these leaders, because these dictators were absolute leaders, and they were pretty crazy. They were like narcissistic people. When you read it, when you look at like their early life, usually it's either that they were abused or something, and they went through like a bunch of like a ton of like struggles. They went through like a lot of things. But yeah, these are just anyone that's a leader. So that some leaders could be evil, some leaders could be good. But if you're a chosen one, you're supposed to be a godly leader, and something that's righteous. You're supposed to be more of a righteous leader. But there's also big leaders who are evil too. But anyone that's destined to be a leader in some sort of way, they go through tremendous suffering. They go through like a lot of bad things, a lot of stuff that like doesn't seem to make sense at first. So. But yeah, or like a president or something, or a musician, spirit. Like I said, a spiritual leader, someone that found Christ, has their testimony before they found Christ. Someone that was destined to be like a let's see, yeah, like a basketball player, like you might find out, like this might be one of the best basketball players ever, and then you find out whenever they were younger though, they went through like hell basically. They went through terrible situations. They went through a lot of adversity and everything, like oppression and everything. So this is how people that have a big purpose. This is how people's lives that have a big purpose works. This is how your life is. So. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I hope I don't hear anyone say anything about the dictator thing. It's not any sympathy for a dictator, because I know they're evil. But I just made that example because like these people are leaders. These people are just natural leaders, but like they're evil. They're kind of manipulative, evil leaders, but they still kind of go through like similar situations in a way. Some people turn. This is what separates like a real godly person, like a chosen one, a child of God, versus someone that's like evil. So it's two ways. You go through your suffering, you go through like a lot of suffering, like suffering that's like supposed to break you, but like it doesn't break you, but it's supposed to break you. And it could be like a lot of terrible things. That's why I say it could be bullying. It could be, some of you could have been like shot or something. Some of you could have been hurt really bad. Some of you could have lost a lot of things. Some of you could have got betrayed super bad. Some people could have been just thrown away like you were nothing. Just a lot of bad things. But what separates someone who's truly strong and godly versus someone that's a little bit weaker and more evil is how, like, oh my God, I can't talk. It's who they turn to after these struggles. So if you turn better than you were, and you actually turn into a better person, that's a godly person. That's a child of God. That's a chosen one of God. But if you turn into more of a bitter person, more of a manipulative person, more kind of evil, that's usually someone that's not a child of God. That's someone that kind of let the enemy get them, kind of let the enemy put them down. They fell into like rage and bitterness and everything. So that's a whole difference. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But yeah, if you're a chosen one of God, if God has a purpose for you, if you're just purposed in this life for something big, you're going to face a lot more warfare, a lot more adversity, a lot more, just a lot of bad things really early in your life. And it doesn't really make sense at first, but then when you get older, it starts to make more sense. You're like, oh, okay, I understand why this happened. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video though. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to comment below. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys.